Welcome to Popcorn Planet. We are live. If you missed the full show, hit that members button, hit the join, become a Popcorn Planeteer, and you can watch the full replay today. But there were so many important topics. I'm looking to spread them out in standalone uploads, so bear with us. If you're watching live, you're catching it all. You were here on time. Make sure you're here after every trial day. There's only a couple more left, but we're here every day. And I'm so happy because Christopher is here, Steph is here, and Kim is here, and we've been breaking down all the information. I actually uploaded a video about Kate Moss. We just talked about it a little bit further, but if you missed this morning's video about Kate Moss, it was up right away. Iconic, classic, to the point, but well important, and check it out because it was nice support for Johnny. But I want to jump into this lead topic and this title and this thumbnail because this was a big one. In fact, I don't want to bury this lead. Mike Reardon, one of our editors, dropped this promo. This was the burn of the day.
I stand to gain nothing from this. I'm actually putting myself kind of in the target of TMZ, a very litigious organization, and I'm not seeking any 15 minutes here. Though you're welcome to speculate. I could say the same thing by taking Amber Heard as a client for you.
Mr. Depp. A little argumentative, don't you think?
Oh, hardly. I find that to be purely logical. Thank you.
No.
Whoa, Mike! My God, that edit was incredible. Mike noticed this. I'm so glad we had a place to put the fact that Elaine picked her ear and then sniffed it. It was that much of a burn that she's like, wah.
Did I hear that right?
Oh my God!
My ear holes are burning right now.
My God, he did a cut. It was so great. I'm like, you got to add Isaac. You got it. So anyway, go check out Mike's reviews. Wait, can you guys see it correctly? Hold on, I'll make sure you guys get a proper plug because Mike and Alicia are amazing editors behind the scenes. Have been doing so much. I'm gonna put his link. I let him make sure he put this up. Go watch it again. Go share it. Amazing burn video that he just made for us to show how great that was. But this is Morgan Tremaine of TMZ. I say a hero. I say a hero, and you know who else is a hero? And I want to talk to Christopher about this. Judge Penny. Oh my God, I am just so impressed by her patience, her fairness, just keeping her cool, not afraid, going up against the TMZ lawyer who showed up ready to throw down. In fact, I think it's important we start there. Here's how this whole event, this was like a season finale, but then there was like a cliffhanger to get us to the next finale. Like the producers behind this trial, I see you. Whoever's pulling these strings, my God, this was such an iconic twist. But we got to, before we even get to this trial, you got to start with the pre-trial. During the lunch break, they didn't get their break. They set the jury off for their lunch, and they stuck around because TMZ filed an emergency motion. So here's that sort of summary.
I'd like to begin where Your Honor began. As a threshold matter, the court should deny TMZ's motion to intervene. Intervention is not appropriate for the reasons suggested in Your Honor's questions. And Philip Morris, as Your Honor is aware, the party issued a third-party subpoena for records to trace confidential sources. Philip Morris is inapposite here, as that case related, as this case is related to witness testimony, not records. As Your Honor suggested, TMZ's quarrel, if any, is with Mr. Tremaine to the extent that he had an NDA that was enforceable, applicable, and that's not what we're hearing from Mr. Tobin. So to the extent that TMZ, which is not exactly Edward R. Murrow, Your Honor, to the extent they have a beef, as it were, a cognizable beef, it is with Mr. Tremaine. It is not with Mr. Depp, and they clearly do not have standing to assert or to intervene because they are not intervening as a party, plaintiff, or defendant. So we respectfully submit, to the extent the court disagrees, I can go into the arguments why the privilege is inapplicable, but I will reserve that.
Thank you. All right. Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, I would like to weigh in from just a different perspective,
Okay.
and that is because we're trying to deal with some important issues of privilege, et cetera. But from our perspective, representing Ms. Heard, we have issues with this witness separately, and I want to make them very clear for the record. This is somebody who should have been identified in discovery, was never. Second of all, it's not relevant whether, apparently what they're saying he's going to testify, and we have not had the opportunity to discover that, is he's going to claim that someone leaked to TMZ that Ms. Heard was going to obtain the TRO on that Friday and also leak the video, the kitchen video with Mr. Depp being rather violent. I'm almost certain he's not going to claim it's Ms. Heard, so I think it's never going to come in.
All right, Ms. Butterhop, I understand all that argument. Do you have any argument as to this particular motion?
No, my
Okay, well, then we can address you.
My point is, though, if you balance the prejudice versus the probative value, I don't even see how he can come in on foundation or hearsay or relevance.
That's just not part of this motion at this time. Thank you, ma'am. All right, Mr. Tobin, your motion, you get the last word, sir.
You know, I appreciate that the court shook your head when he made the snarky comment that this is not Edward R. Murrow. Obviously, the First Amendment applies to everybody, citizens, the New York Times, or TMZ. And this is a First Amendment-based privilege. It would be an interesting procedural issue for appeal, Your Honor, whether a journalism organization or anybody else who's a First Amendment holder would be denied intervention on a constitutional-based privilege. This is an unusual situation.
Tell me about it.
But the answers are there in the law, and it is a First Amendment concern.
This is not the first unusual situation in this case. I can
For
tell you,
either of us,
Mr. Tobin.
for anybody here, I'm sure.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you coming in today, and I appreciate
you.
your arguments. Yes, sir. Thank you.
But-
that contractual action has no bearing on this case and is thus not germane to this litigation. Therefore, I'll deny the non-party EHM Productions motion to intervene.
Thank you, Your Honor. For the record, I've known Mr. Tobin for several years. I meant no snarkiness toward him.
Well, you're just a snarky guy.
There was, did it play? There was a moment where Elaine, did she say like, we're, we know it's not Amber, we're pretty positive it's not Amber who sent this audio. It's just already telling. I mean, before we even get to this, all this buildup, Christopher and panel, I don't know. I think it makes Amber look bad. Why are they fighting this? I understand why TMZ is fighting this. That makes sense. They should. But hearing Elaine and the team get so nervous and trying to push this, shouldn't, in the eyes of the jury and the public, shouldn't they have no qualms? We didn't do it. Yeah, release it. Who cares? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that's right. It's TMZ's beef. Now, of course, we don't know, and and Elaine didn't know at that moment in time what this witness was going to say, and maybe the witness is not going to be truthful. And so, look, it is her job to keep evidence out, just as it's Johnny's team to get evidence in. So I don't fault either side for doing their job. But her arguments were out of order. It's clear. I mean, we're talking about the privilege of a media outlet to refuse to reveal a source. So it had nothing to do with the argument she was raising.
Well, Morgan stepped up. He showed up, and here was Morgan's testimony.
Would you please state your full name for the record?
Morgan Cliff Tremaine. I worked as the field assignment manager at TMZ. I was the go-between the news desk in the office and the reporters in the field, which you might know as paparazzi.
And were tips frequently received directly from sources?
Very often the case, yeah.
Who were the type of sources that TMZ received tips from?
They would receive tips from, oftentimes it would be publicists, managers, agents, or B-list celebrities.
Lawyers?
And lawyers, definitely.
How are tips verified?
Tips are verified by an extensive process. If they come in through our tip line, we have to verify who sent it, that the source is truthful, and so they have to add their contact information.
And how long did that process typically take?
If it was media, such as photos or videos, that would need to be extensively verified to ensure that the person sending it is the copyright holder and that we would have the legal ability to air it and distribute it.
And while working for TMZ, were you involved in any assignments related to Ms. Heard?
I was.
What was the first time you recall working on an assignment related to Ms. Heard?
May 27th, 2016. Ms. Heard was filing a restraining order at a courthouse in downtown Los Angeles. So I dispatched camera people to that location.
Under what circumstances would you normally send paparazzi to a courthouse?
Only if we had been informed prior. We would only ever send people there if we had been tipped off that something was occurring and there was somebody present there.
And what footage was TMZ trying to capture at the LA courthouse on May 27th, 2016?
We were trying to capture Amber leaving the courthouse and an alleged bruise on the right side of her face. Their objective was to capture her leaving the courthouse, and then she was going to sort of stop and turn towards the camera to display the bruise on the right side of her face, the alleged bruise.
Did your team of
Now,
videographers...
there's more, but pausing. That doesn't sound like something Team JD would have snuck to the press, right, guys?
No, and like I say, I mean, I'm in that courthouse all the time. And, you know, if you wanted to Google it, it's 111 North Hill Street, Los Angeles, California. So 111 North Hill Street, LA, California. You could Google it.
You want me to
can
Google
see
it?
It's this enormous, disgusting court building with multiple exits.
What is it again? What? Say it one more time.
111, so 111 North Hill Street
Okay. There
in
it
Los
is.
Angeles. There you go. And so there's multiple. That's the south exit. That's the one she didn't use. So it's a whole city block. There it is with the red icon is the south entrance that's shown in the photograph. She went out the north entrance where it says Municipal Civil
Over here, okay.
on Grand Street. So
She went out this
Grand
way.
Street. So if you go to Street View, you'll be able to see this, and it's like it's a whole city block. So there it goes. That's the one she took. That's the most public entrance. That's where all the media goes because it's flat. When we did Free Britney and we did the stream,
this is the same
I
courthouse.
was right there on the left side.
Okay, yeah.
That's where the media goes because it's flat, and then the lot descends steeply down to the south where the other main exit is, and then each side, so east and west, also has an exit right there where this guy's standing. That's the entrance to the underground parking, and so you can get permission from the sheriff's department to go under to exit in the underground where it's secured. They don't let anybody in there. There's a guard there at all times.
Right.
So there's multiple places to get in and out of that courthouse. So they'd have to have paparazzi all over the place, including getting somehow into the secured underground garage. The bailiffs would have worked with her in ensuring that she could get in and out.
There's a side entrance here.
Just south of that. There you go. Right where those. Yep. So. That's the west exit. So it's so many ways in and out of this place. So she chose the most public one. They would have known where to be, and it was bizarre to hear that the condition of her face was disclosed, and that she would be posing, stopping and waiting for photographs. So again, this is
The kind of stuff that Elaine and team would be nervous to have be released, correct?
Well, yeah, it's information that only could have came from Amber's team, probably her publicist, saying, "Hey, TMZ, we're coming out the front door," and so that they get the shot because that's what they wanted. She was not just there for the restraining order; she was there for the press. So this witness
and this
gives us
wasn't the only event. Here we go. Here's back to Morgan.
First, get the shot of Amber Heard?
We did.
Did you do anything to verify the tip on May 27th, 2016 related to Amber Heard?
I did not.
Why not?
Because it had come directly from a news producer. It means that they had verified that tip and deemed that it was credible, and therefore a camera person needed to be dispatched.
After May 27th, 2016, were you involved in any other assignments related to Amber Heard?
Yes, August 6th, 2016, where she was giving a deposition.
So what did you do in relation to that tip?
I dispatched camera to a law office in which she would be arriving to, so we could get the footage of her arriving for the deposition.
Did you get the shot of Miss Heard on August 6th, 2016?
We did.
Were you involved in any other stories involving Miss Heard?
Yes, I was. On the 12th, we received a video depicting Johnny Depp slamming some cabinets that was captured by Ms. Heard. The video was sent in through our email tip line, which is an email distribution that goes to all the producers and to myself as the field assignment manager, because it often included celebrity locations. It came in as I recall,
Objection, hearsay. I think he's about to reveal hearsay, Your Honor.
I'll overrule for now. We'll see
He's
where-
about to.
Please continue.
I received that email and it included a link from some unknown Dropbox website in which it contained that
Objection, Your
video.
Honor, hearsay. He's about to describe what comes from the Dropbox website and that.
Go ahead, next question.
In that link was the video of Johnny Depp smashing the cabinets. We downloaded it and then were instructed by the news producer to do what we call slap bumpers and a bug on it, which is putting the dun 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 at the beginning end, and then putting a
They're
translucent
going to copyright it just for him saying it out loud.
watermark over it, which indicates copyright ownership. It was posted to TMZ.com.
So wait, they get any video through their tip line? They just put a bug on it and now they own it? I mean, oh my God, TMZ is the worst. They just own it. If you send it in, it's immediately owned. They don't check, whatever. Just apparently everything's
Did you
owned.
do anything else related to Amber Heard on August 12, 2016?
Yes, I received a tip that Amber Heard would be arriving at LAX, and so I dispatched camera people to film that, her arrival to LAX rather.
Can you imagine? No wonder he's revealing us. He must have hated his job so much that he had to keep reacting to tips of where Amber Heard was going to be.
And why did you do that?
I was instructed to.
How does TMZ obtain copyright over images and videos?
The only way to obtain copyright over media would be if we shot it ourselves, if it was sent to the tip line, source verified that it was from the original copyright owner, and then either purchased from that person or given to us. And then the third option would be if it was directly given to us by the copyright holder, like a direct source.
And how long does it take to copyright something TMZ has received through the tip line?
It can take a while because you have to extensively verify that that person owns the copyright. And then potentially you'd have to enter a negotiation with our clips and clearances department to figure out the cost of that media.
How long does it take for TMZ to obtain a copyright over something received directly from a source?
Something in the realm of 15 minutes.
How much time had passed from the time you received the kitchen cabinet video to the time it was posted on TMZ?
About 15 minutes.
Did any other tabloids other than TMZ post this video?
Objection,
No, they-
leading and calls for hearsay.
Overrule.
Mr. Tremaine, go ahead.
No, they did not.
And why not?
Because it was a TMZ exclusive. It means the TMZ owns the copyright to it. So it can't be distributed by any other media source without backlinking to TMZ. And they wouldn't be able to upload that media without getting a copyright strike.
How does that video compare to the
Which
one
we
you
got.
received on August 12, 2016?
It was much shorter than the video that's been played in his trial. And there's a bit at the end where she's seemingly snickering and looks at the camera. That part was not present in what we received.
Did TMZ edit the video?
No, not even a little.
When was the next time you worked on an assignment related to Amber Heard?
There was the time where we went to the airport. And then the day after that, because she had flown in for the deposition, so she was arriving again for the deposition in that same parking lot adjacent to a law office. That was August 13th, yeah.
And what was your assignment on August 13th?
To dispatch camera people to that parking lot at a specific time in order to film Amber Heard arriving for the deposition.
How did you know that tip was legitimate?
It came from a news producer.
While you worked at TMZ, did you ever receive any communications from Mr. Depp or his camp?
I did not.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Cross-examination.
Yes. So how do you know what video was shown at this trial?
I was alerted by a friend that TMZ was being kind of talked about in this trial, and so I had seen a clip of that.
Then we had that set up the big burn that we just watched, which I'm down to watch one more time.
Yeah, let's watch it one more time. I was just about to say, let's watch it again.
Here it is.
Kind of in a target of TMZ, a very litigious organization, and I'm not seeking any 15 minutes here. Though you're welcome to speculate. I could say the same thing by taking Amber Heard as a client for you.
Mr. Depp. A little argumentative, don't you think?
Oh, hardly. I find that to be purely logical. Thank you.
No.
Oh,
I
man.
stand to gain nothing.
Beautiful, Mike. Mike Reardon, again, can't plug that hard enough. While we were live, I was also told by, I don't know if he wants me to tell who it is, someone who has worked with celebrities confirmed what you just said, Christopher. I've used that celebrity underground entrance numerous times. There are numerous ways to get in there that make it impossible to run into press. There are two ways to be impossible to run into press. They will ask all celebrities beforehand if you want to use the secure entrance, so you literally have to refuse it. 501 and 501st West Street, they also have 2 ground level entrances that are gated. We use those. This person used them with Britney several times. So there you go. Again, coming in as our famous watchers, confirming that, yeah, this is complete nonsense that Amber is out there trying to spin. So what does this mean, Christopher? We were saying yesterday this was dangerous, right, for us, and we gotta protect our sources, etc. Yesterday we didn't think this was even going to happen. So we learned, though, this because it wasn't a criminal trial, it was a civil trial. There were a lot of other things that we just didn't know with Virginia law, etc., that allowed Penny to slide this through. What is your reaction to this happening, Christopher?
Well, a little anticlimactic, because I assumed, and that's always the problem with assuming stuff, is that this gentleman was going to get on the stand and say, TMZ purchased the video from Amber Heard or the publicist or the lawyer or the sister, and was going to, identify. But he didn't. And because he didn't have that direct knowledge, just as TMZ said, by the way, in their opposition, said he was not involved directly in the acquisition. So the best that he could do is talk about process and saying, look, we got this in a Dropbox link, and we were able to publish it as our copyrighted exclusive material 15 minutes later, and the only way that we could do that is if we got it from the source. And the implication is good enough for me. It came from Amber. Now, and this gets confusing, I think, we're talking about on who owns the copyright on images that are created. It's who takes the photo or who takes the video, not the subject of. And this is a problem that we're seeing in celebrity clients where they're photographed and TMZ's now using their photographs and monetizing that stuff, and the celeb who's the subject of the photo saying, I should get part of this money here. You're photographing me and you guys are making the money? Well, it's because the photographer or whoever the photographer is working for holds the copyright because they created that image. And just the way it works. So here Amber Heard, although illegally, recorded Johnny in this segment of a video, and so she held a copyright to it and she was able to transfer it, and only her could transfer that. So the implication is clear. If it wasn't already clear enough, because who else could have given this to TMZ other than Amber or somebody on her team anyway? So even if this gentleman wouldn't have came in, it was probably clear enough. But, we got the implication out there. I wish there was more, but certainly what we're seeing is conduct that does not act consistent with her story. Her story is, I'm very scared. I had to go in for protection of a court against my husband, even though he was in Spain at the time and wants nothing to do with me. I need protection. I am so scared. I'm terrified of my life that somehow he's going to reach out from Spain and hurt me. So I'm going to run into court. And what do? You bring your publicist, you call TMZ, and then when you're still living in fear of him, you sell or make available to TMZ, who's going to put this worldwide, very embarrassing video that would only enrage him. And, if any of us have ever been subject to somebody who's threatened us, unfortunately, that happens to us from time to time. The last thing you would want to do is inflame that person because they're actually going to hurt you. And a little restraining order is just a piece of paper that actually provides no protection at all from somebody hurting you. So if you're truly in fear, the last thing you would want to do is inflame the person who's harassing you. And so all of this conduct that she's engaged in is completely inconsistent with the story that she's telling.
Well said. Steph, what do you think when you see all this? I mean, Christopher's right. We don't get the full source reveal, but it's pretty implicated. I feel like who else would do it? There was thoughts of Laura Wasserman, Johnny's legal team was doing it, but based on all this testimony, why would he be leaking when she's showing up for all this stuff? There's too many. Some Amber rep. The reality is, do we know Amber herself did it? Who knows? It seems like she would have to approve such moves with her reps, but it easily could have been her manager or agent or lawyer or somebody on Team Amber was clearly behind it all. How much did Amber have to say? I'm assuming she's a control freak who knows every move. But Steph, what do you think? Does this imply enough for you that Amber is involved?
My opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, TMZ is like Amber Heard's publicist machine. Oh my goodness. Like, I'm sorry, but it's like, okay, maybe once or twice, fair enough. But like a buttload of times, like he was able to recount instances where she was there, this, that, and the other. I'm sorry, but as far as I'm concerned, that kind of scenario, they're only there because you've told them that you were there. The bit that got me really enraged was when Morgan turned around and he was like, you know, paraphrasing here, but you know, when she walked out of that courtroom after she got the TRO, or however you word it over there, you guys, we just call it restraining order, but the TRO, that he was like at pains to say, you know, and to make sure that, you know, when we took photographs that we got, you know, the bruising shot on her face, the alleged bruise on shot on her face, and this, that, and the other. But yeah, it just screamed Amber Heard or Amber Heard's team set it all up, that TMZ were alerted at key points in this timeline of what was going on so that they would come, take photos, report about it, and it was just another way, another tool for Amber to publicly, in the media, control and spin a very false narrative. And TMZ were party to that. This dude, Morgan Tremaine, is an absolute freaking hero, because not only is he going against Amber Heard, but he's also going against TMZ as well. There could be, like he said himself, there could be serious repercussions now of what he said, because of the, what do you call it now? The contract where you're not supposed to say,
NDA. Yeah, I'm curious.
Because of the NDA, he could be in trouble now.
Yeah, I want to get your thoughts on that, because before, Kim, thoughts on this whole thing? Does this make it more or less likely Amber's involved?
I think Amber's involved. I mean, here's the thing. If it was me, let's say that there was a tape that I filmed that then somehow ended up on TMZ, that it was sold to TMZ, they then owned the copyright, I'd be like, but that's mine. You know, and then there would be the question of, well, who took it? How did they get it? Who went on my computer and took my file and then sold that to TMZ? Would that not be something you would want to know? Because I feel like if I was Amber, I'd be saying to the lawyers, like, oh, please, I'd like to know which one of my friends was that much of a traitor. I'd like to know who hacked into my computer and took that. Please, let's go. But instead it's, no, we can't talk about it. No, we shouldn't. What's the problem? If she didn't do anything wrong, she didn't do it, who cares?
Yeah, right. If you're innocent, you want to know who did the crime. Exactly. That's what I'm saying from the beginning. And I'm just glad it got out. I mean, it's interesting because you're right, Christopher. They didn't really say the source. Everyone made such a big deal out of this, which I think almost helped Johnny because there was so much nerve and craziness and all this stuff. When the reality is he didn't actually reveal the source. He didn't know the source. He didn't say the source, which is what TMZ was most worried about. So all of this only made it even more epic. What is he? Do you think he's going to face some trouble moving forward? Do you think he's protected by somebody at this point?
I mean, he knows. He knew before he got into this that this was going to be trouble. But those both comments, Steph, brilliant. Steph putting all the incidents together. It's too much for TMZ to have the exclusive on all these things. And then Kim's comment, absolutely brilliant, because that's. I mean, if there was a leak in Amber's team, you would want to know about that, and even these years later, I would want to know about it if I were still representing her, and it would be like, yeah, bring it on, TMZ. I want to hear what this person has to say so we can uncover finally who leaked that information, because that's the last thing you want to have happen when you're handling one of these cases, is to have leakage. So that's a brilliant point. Now, on the consequences, sure, I'm sure he's going to get sued. He's probably already sued him. They'll probably appeal this, not that it's going to change the outcome. He's already testified, but just to make a point or create law, they may appeal this. So yeah, I think he's, it just depends on what his employment agreement says. If it promised not to reveal any information that he learned in the course and scope of his employment, but they also did slap a subpoena on him, and so even if you have an NDA. Non-disclosure agreement, generally speaking, if you are subpoenaed to testify, you have to testify. The NDA is not going to.
Now, I don't want to allude to what Johnny's team may or may not have done, but let's suppose you're doing a case, Christopher. You have a star witness who can do something like this. It's going to expose TMZ. It's going to legally make him a threat. Are there things you can do to protect that person, either by representing them yourself or helping to cover other representation to ensure that they're there to, lessen the worry of said person, to ensure that if they do get sued, they're covered?
Sure, we do this all the time. So number one is that you would issue a subpoena, which is at the effect of a court order commanding them to testify, and they did that. So hey, if there's an agreement that says I won't disparage or disclose, but then court process is almost always an exception to those. So number one, that's protection. Number two, we would generally offer counsel to that person and have our client pay for that. Sometimes we'll also indemnify. We just have to be careful about offering something that looks like it's in exchange for testimony. So we have to be careful with that, not to violate the law and also to taint this witness's testimony. But certainly some protections could be given. But he knew he was taking a gigantic risk. Even just on a career level doing this, but he must have weighed it and figured, it was on balance going to be okay for him.
And let's not forget, again, as many people are saying in the comments, Amber let this slip already. Here was the moment during her deposition, which, again, if you ever watch her old deposition, completely different person.
So that he finds out about the divorce filing or my intention to do so from some other source other than TMZ, which was alerted.
I think, Camille, you slipped up there, huh? Because she did. She totally slipped up there with the, I can't even put my hand up. Just kidding. Didn't say that. We already knew all this. And so, again, yet another lie that she's digging the hole in to just continue to be the worst person out there and to destroy her credibility. Is this like enough of an instance, Christopher, that you think will actually affect a juror to say, you know what? I don't believe her. I'm going to side with Johnny. Can it be something like this that sort of uncovers itself and can really be the moment that makes them turn?
This is a sideshow. It doesn't directly relate to any of the issues in the case, which is, were the statements that she made in the op-ed defamatory and made with malice. It doesn't directly relate to that. It relates certainly to her credibility as a witness, because if you lied in one respect, you lied in others. Now, in closing, they could try, and I hope they do try and relate this to the malice element that has to be shown in a defamation case against a public figure. So we know in a defamation case against somebody like Johnny as a public figure, we have to show not only that a statement was made about them that's false, but that the statement was made with actual malice, which is the intention to harm or reckless disregard for the truth. Now, the way I would tie that in closing is to saying, look at what she did with this video, that she not only illegally tape recorded him in his home in a really bad moment, but then she released that to the TMZ for worldwide distributions to humiliate him when she was upset that he wasn't agreeing to her financial demands and insisting that her deposition be taken actually the very next day. And so that establishes her state of mind, at least August 2016, and then maybe the jury would infer couple years later that she's making now these op-ed piece that she still has a hateful state of mind and an intent to injure or harm Johnny, which would supply the actual malice element. So they can make that relevant potential connection.
Well, guys, we had so much to talk about in today's replay. We talked about Dr. Curry, Johnny Depp came back to the stand, as well as so much more. But I wanted to give that TMZ video a little bit more love, so that's what we singled out. If you want to watch the full stream of today's recap, please consider becoming a member. Hit that join button, select a tier, join the Planeteers, and then go over to the members playlist. Member-only playlist is at the bottom of our channel page on youtube.com/popcornplanet. You'll see it at the bottom, and you can catch the replays there at any time as a perk of being a member. Thanks to all my amazing guests, Steph the Alter Nerd, It's Kim, Christopher Melcher, as well as Linda, Paige Vaughn, and Angie's Chair showed up at the end. You're not going to want to miss that gag because it was really, really good. But if you want to see the rest of the recap and so much more, go check out today's members-only recap. Thank you guys so much for all the love. We'll be back tomorrow. We got a couple more days left. It's going to get intense. Stay tuned, everybody. You're going to get redirected over to Lewis over at Nerd Report. Tell him you're my favorite. Popcorn, no, say Stringnor sent you. And if you're watching the replay,